to TnSportsChat presented by Lehigh Valley Health Network. I'm Patrick Matsinko. This week's episode is pretty cool. I had a chance to go down to Lehigh Valley Health Network Cedar Crest on Thursday. They hosted IndyCar Series driver Charlie Kimball. Charlie talked about living with and racing with type 1 diabetes. He was diagnosed in 2007, cut into his career a little bit. He was forced to take some time off, step away from the sport, came back in 2008, but he has been racing since. He was with Chip Ganassi Racing for several years. Now he's with Carlin Racing. He's preparing to race at Pocono in the ABC Supply 500 this weekend, but it was a really neat about 45-minute presentation that he just kind of talked about his life, his background, how he manages type 1 diabetes, living with it, racing with it, everything he has to do, just the people around him that have supported him, and then I think just sort of also kind of offering some advice for other people that were in attendance and just kind of what they can do to sort of manage it and just sort of live a normal life. And obviously he competes at an extremely high level, but you still certainly have athletes, weekend warriors, kids kind of coming up through, whether it's in high school, youth sports, whatever it might be, and then just kind of how they can manage it, but also too for parents, guardians, and others that are also living with it. I know he mentioned one thing about people that live with those that are kind of dealing with diabetes. It's almost like a type 3 diabetes, where everybody that lives with someone who is kind of dealing with it, managing it, they are affected, almost as much, just in terms of kind of trying to work with them, help them, and make sure that they have the care that they need to be able to just kind of get through day to day, and that they can certainly live their best life and do everything normal and not be impeded by their diagnosis. So it was really neat. After the presentation, I had a chance to get some one-on-one time with Charlie and just kind of talk about what the program and the presentation means to him, just kind of how much he learns from it, even just kind of going, just sort of around every time he does a presentation, just kind of gets to talk to a group and just kind of what he gets out of it as well. So it was definitely something that was pretty neat and just kind of helps to put everything in perspective. Certainly something that helps you not take anything for granted. Something that you might see as just kind of commonplace or normal, just sort of, I don't know, I think it just helps to kind of put it in perspective and give you that better outlook sort of moving forward. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time down there, and thank you again to everybody at Lehigh Valley Health Network Cedar Crest for hosting the event, and for Charlie obviously to be there and to speak to the group. So I hope you enjoy my interview with Charlie. Be sure to tune in again next week. Hopefully we'll have more content and highlights from around the area, especially now with fall sports season kind of ready to get underway. So thank you again, and this has been Patrick Matsinko for Lehigh Valley Health Network and the Times News.
Having IndyCar as a vehicle for that message, if you'll pardon the pun, is extremely valuable. And partnering with Novo Nordisk for now our 11th season together with the Race with Insulin program, being able to share that message of empowerment to the diabetes community is awesome. Because if it's those kids that are thinking about what they want to achieve and what dreams they want to chase in life, or if it's the parents that are struggling with the burden of helping their child manage diabetes, if I can give them some tools, give them some perspective, or even just give them 45 minutes as an escape to think, in this room, everyone has diabetes one way or another. And so that's normal. And to me, it's extremely fulfilling. And I feel that responsibility to do a good job for the diabetes community when I put that fire suit and helmet on this weekend and go racing at Pocono Raceway. It's about being successful for not just myself and my team and my sponsors, but for that diabetes community too. I learn every day from the people I talk to, from if it's healthcare professionals, if it's families, about the tools they use, how they manage, the successes, the challenges they face, what works for them, what doesn't work. I learn every time I talk to people. I learn every time I interact within the diabetes community. I have friends all over the country who have diabetes, and we've been able to to be connected through racing, meeting them in the autograph line at the racetrack or meeting them at a community outreach event like this, and then seeing them at the racetrack again. I know Brandon's coming up to the race on Sunday. A couple of the other young ladies and gentlemen were talking about coming up either Saturday or Sunday, and it'll always put a smile on my face. No matter how well or how poorly, how challenging the race weekend is, it gives me a moment to get out of my own head and not be so focused on that 2.5 mile triangle, but to really appreciate the community that I'm a part of. One of the questions at the end, young lady Lily came up and she said, do you ever want to give diabetes back? And I told her I would every day. And I wish I could. And yet at the same time, I know that if I gave diabetes back tomorrow, I would miss being a part of this incredible community. And when I was first diagnosed, I didn't understand how special being a part of this cool kids club was going to be and what it would mean to me personally and to me professionally. And being able to share that story through the Race with Insulin program, working with Novo Nordisk and take insulin brands on the race car, insulin delivery devices on a race car at 200 plus miles an hour is pretty neat.